Welcome to this edition of the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3, and Sam and I are happy to welcome a new face this year, Sam.
Yeah, we're glad to have him. We see him at the bowl all the time, but
That's right.
haven't had him here high above the bowl in our studio.
Daniel Hafner,
great to be here.
Lady Varsity coach.
Yeah,
Thanks for joining us.
great to be here. So, had a little struggle at the beginning of the season, but we're trying to fix it. So
we've first week of basketball in 0-2 was follows the Lady Spartans in the record column, but I think there was improvement Saturday. Sam, you were at Saturday.
There was a lot of improvement Saturday night. A game that we led most of the game,
three quarters. So
but it seemed like we ran out of gas there in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and that's stuff that we talked about afterwards and drive home. We need to do a little bit more conditioning, or we need to kind of trust our bench a little bit more and try to put them in earlier in the first half situations and stuff like that. We're just trying to gain confidence in some of the players that haven't really had experience. So,
but some of your experienced players the other night, after what happened on Thursday night, came back. I thought Elise, she was tough on the boards. Marley was had got her touch back, and for those that don't know, Marley had her tonsils taken out a couple weeks ago, and she's not at full strength.
Nope, she's definitely not at full strength. Getting there, but the conditioning. I mean, when you take a couple weeks off, it's hard to get conditioned when you can't breathe, you can't do some stuff. She's also lost a lot of weight because of that. When she can't eat, can't hardly hold fluid down. So
it's not like she was a big girl anyway.
Yeah, so she's going to get better, and we know where she's going to be. But Elise had probably her best game in 3 years for us, all over the rebound. I think she ended up with 9 rebounds, and some of you might not say it's a lot, but considering she was in foul trouble for about half the game again, 9 rebounds in about a half game, that's tremendous. So
45-33 was the final score at Indianapolis Ritter.
Yeah, and part of that was we were down and started to have to try to maybe foul and go man, and they hit their free throws down the stretch. So it kind of made that gap. It wasn't, I would probably say it would have been about a 4-point gap.
Yes.
And we were on the downside, and they hit free throws, and then we couldn't make shots when we needed down the stretch. So
Thursday night, New Pal must have played one of their best games of 10 years or something. I mean,
they're a great team.
Yes.
I mean, they are a great team, not going to hold anything back from them, but they're not 50 points better. We did not match their intensity. Hustle plays.
Speed.
We just let some of that go. It's like we got down, got frustrated, and we didn't play as a team. And I think we had some individuals who were playing before try to step up, and they think they were trying to do way too much instead of just letting the game come to them. So we're working on fixing some of that. Like I said, just going a little bit here and there, but it was a very poor showing. So
I was impressed with New Pal's defense. I mean, they were playing man-to-man, and how those kids, I know I've asked coaches before, how do you teach a kid how to play tough man-to-man defense and not foul? The coach at New Pal apparently taught those girls how to do that.
This is their second year there, and like I said, they won sectional with the coach's very first year there. I think she's doing an excellent job, and I think they're going to have great teams for years as long as she's there. So I don't want to take anything away from them. Like I said, right now they have the post players. They have an excellent point guard that can penetrate when they need it, and then they have a couple shooters. And like I said, that's what every coach wants. I mean, you have a couple post players, couple shooters, and people that can get into the lane, and it makes coaching a lot easier when you have all that. So
physically they're strong. I mean, they're muscular.
Yep.
Not only were they tall, you can tell that they'd hit the weight room. And
most teams in our sectional and even in our conference are lifting in middle school. I mean, they start in 7th, 8th grade. They start lifting. showing them the form and all that stuff. And that's something I think we're trying to get to. We're just a few years behind some other schools in that feature.
We keep talking about it with others that come in, this new field house they're going to build could certainly help with that, because more square footage for more kids in different sports to be able to work out.
Yes. Like I said, I think there's some issues we got to work out. I'm not in favor to always have a 3.5 hour practice. Kids have homework. They have a life. They have to be able to do some stuff. And it's hard to lift during season. I mean, it really is. And we got to figure out ways where they can lift, get stronger, but yet still be at practice learning what they need to do with skills and stuff. Like I said, it's just something that I think as a corporation we're going to for all sports. And how it's going to look in 5-6 years from now, we don't really know, but we're trying to adjust and do some things with that. So
Spartans go out of town again this Friday. They travel to Mount Vernon. This ball club is 1-1 on the season. They won over Franklin 46-44. Then they lost to Warren Central Saturday 63-44. Spartans beat them last year.
Yeah, I think it's going to be another close game, which for us, almost every game right now should be close.
Sure.
Even going to last season, our games were close throughout. I mean, I don't think we really, other than maybe Anderson, we were pretty much in almost every game. It just, we got to make sure we do the right things, hustle, get the rebounds, block out, and just go from there. I don't think they lost hardly anything from last year. I think our entire sectional, I think Richmond and maybe one other team in our entire sectional is the ones that's really lost some players. So it's really almost the same sectional, and there were a lot of teams really close in sectional last year. So I think it's going to be another good sectional to watch and kind of see how things fan out towards the end of the season.
Unfortunately, it won't be at Spartan Bowl this year.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I thought we were supposed to have that 2 years in a row.
No, I think it's every year go different places, and just in the past 6 years, it's always been a place 2 years in a row. It seems, I think Greenfield had it for 2 years, and Mount Vernon had it for 2 years. I think we hosted it 1 year in between.
Just
can't remember before that, but
it's just those other facilities aren't near the quality of the Grand Palace on Grand.
Yes, so I think the thing that we struggle with the most when we try to get these events is part of the parking. And like I said, I think it's just been the issue for years.
It has been an issue, but people need to stop and think about this. You go to Chrysler Fieldhouse at Newcastle when that place is full, and you wait 30 minutes to get out of that parking lot. Now, you park on the side streets at Spartan Bowl, you may have to walk a little bit, but you know, that's good for us. That's good for us. You get in your car and you pull away from the curb and you're home.
That is true. So, like I said, I think that's the pros and cons.
It's a mindset.
Yes, it's pros and cons. Like I said, I wish we had it, but we don't have it, so just going from there.
Our turn will come around again.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Sure. We talked about the Lady Spartans. Here are the results from the first week of play by area girls basketball teams. Richmond is 0-1. They lost last Tuesday to Newcastle 66-51. And this Friday they will be playing at Anderson. Franklin County is 1-0. They won Friday 56-33 over Rising Sun, and Franklin County plays at East Central on Tuesday night. Rushville is 2-0. They won 67-53 at Newcastle and won 69-30 in its game Saturday with Muncie Central. The Lady Lions are home Friday with Lawrence Central. Union County is 1-0. They won 46-32 at Milan and is home with South Decatur on Tuesday. Centerville is 0-1. They played Saturday and lost 46-25 in its game with Randolph Southern, and this Friday is home with Eastern Hancock. Cambridge City Lincoln doesn't play its first game until this Friday at Anderson Prep Academy, and the Lady Spartans play all these teams during the season with the exception of Cambridge City. Pretty good schedule.
Yeah, it is. Our conference right now is extremely strong.
Yes.
I think there's 4 ranked teams in our conference. Sectional, we have quite a few. Like I said, New Pal's probably the strongest right now. They won last year, but like I said, you can't count out some of these other teams that have a lot of the people that's returning as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
you look at our that sectional field, and it is pretty tough. And
yep.
Newcastle went away, and we got New Pal, so wasn't
Yep.
much of a advantage in that trade at all. But,
no. So like I said, it's going to be good. Like I said, last few years with our conference been the way it's been with Greensburg, they were in the state finals. Rushville's always been great in girls basketball. Like I said, Lawrenceburg right now, they have a couple of really good players that they are winning. I forget the record last year. But
East Central's always tough.
East Central's always giants for us. Last year, I think they had 6 girls that were 6 foot or taller. I mean, like I said, that's hard to defend when you have that.
Just up and down the conference. Batesville's always good too.
So, like I said, our conference is probably one of the strongest around. So,
we talked a little briefly about going to Mount Vernon this weekend. Coach Julie Shelton came back last year after a break where she had gone and was an assistant at Butler University, but a tremendous coach.
Yes, she is, and been for years. She does this matchup zone, and it affects a lot of players, and we play every year, and it still gives us fits. Even though we try to explain how to beat it, we come up with different ways. We watch other film for teams that run different things, try to learn and adapt, and it's a zone that throws people for a loop.
I remember years ago that I believe we were ranked preseason #1, and that was always our first game. And we went up there and got our first loss at the very first game, and we were highly regarded that year. And I think went on and won most of maybe lost 1 or 2 games after that in the regular season. So always a tough place to go.
Yes, it is. So she does a great job. It's another program that I think is turning around now. She left for a few years, and like I said, I think they were a little low on some skill and talent at that point, but she's come back, and it's turned around. I think they're going to be another great team that we're going to have, and we'll see. And like I said, we're going to work on some new things. We're going to throw a few new things in again against this zone, because it seems like everything we throw in works a little bit, then it stops working because she adjusts. And like I said, that's great coaching, and we just have to try to manage.
Adjust on the fly.
Yep.
Yeah.
As assistant coach, what's your main job?
Just watch the girls, try to encourage them. But then also for helping Thompson out during the games, I'll kind of give them my recommendation of when we need a sub, if we need a sub. I typically watch a lot of the defense and what they're in and try to give suggestions on what we should do offensively. Just kind of try to figure out different ways to go about things. And so many teams we have anymore don't just play straight man. They don't play just a straight zone. They'll mix stuff up. They'll do a little bit here, then a little bit here, and then they'll change it. Or they'll say it's all man, but then sometimes it's only like 25%, and they'll keep everything packed in. Other times they'll spread everything out and just mix it up. They'll come behind and trap, and like I said, you got to keep adjusting to everything. And sometimes you call out a play, then they switch it on you, and you got to make sure we try to figure out how to go about that play each possession almost. So
Do you help him decide when to call a timeout? Do you make suggestions?
yeah, I give it. I think he listens a lot of time. It just sometimes it's on the fly, and like I said, he has the main say. Like I said, sometimes it's pros to call timeout on fast breaks. Other times it's let them go, and you just never really know.
Sure.
So it's one of those things that just up and down. So
How long have you been at CHS?
9 years, I think.
Wow.
So I think it's been 9.
You're a real veteran, I know. We're happy to have you, and you guys, I know, get to turn this program around, I know.
Yeah, we're trying. So like I said,
Sure.
I think the field house's step going to help us out, especially with our youth, being able to have kids in there and have more baskets for, right now, if we go to the bowl or the arena, you get 12 baskets, and when you have some of your younger programs, there are still 5, 6, 7 kids to a basket, and you can't really work on as much. Where if you can, send 2 or 3 at this basket, 2 or 3 at this basket, I think that field house will do an excellent job for camps.
Sure.
Not just for basketball, but for all sports. Just there's more space in there to do things and work on skills.
In football, East Central is the remaining member of the Eastern Indiana Athletic Conference, still playing in the postseason tournament. The Trojans defeated Edgewood 57-22 in the Class 4A title game and is home this Friday taking on Evansville Central in the regional game. Evansville advanced by winning over Boonville 49-20 in the sectional. Both teams are 11-1 on the season. The other conference team playing in the sectional finals was Batesville in Class 3A. The Bulldogs lost to Brownstown Central 35-28. Batesville finished with a 9-3 record. Do you see much football?
Yeah, with the kids right now, the age they are, I typically try to get to the home games. The away games I don't get to, but like I said,
I'm sure you tune into K-Mix.
Yeah, so like I said, it's one of those things. I have 2 little kids, and it's hard to go give up the evenings, especially when I'm doing it all basketball season. So like I said, I go to a few of the home games, probably 2 or 3 at least a year.
Okay.
So,
where'd you go to school?
I went to Winchester, so just about an hour north. So
in the area?
Yep. So
did you play sports?
Yep. I ran cross country and track, and then I played basketball. So.
And you played. We were talking off air here. You played for a pretty good coach, tough coach. But
yes. Yep. Chip Mahaffey. So played for a really good coach that had a great program. So.
Are you on the staff at CHS?
Yeah,
you teach?
I'm a math teacher at the high school.
Okay.
So right now I'm teaching Algebra 1, Algebra 2, and Calculus. So.
Okay, don't give us any problems here. I mean,
that's some tough stuff there. But,
yeah, but it's great group of kids I have this year, and even the years before. I mean, like I said, it's ups and downs in some other classes, but I can't ever complain about the calculus level. So the great group. So
math take them a long way.
Yes. So
that's great to be good in that. Really, I mean, the kids struggle with some.
Yeah.
Do they?
Yeah. Like I said, everything to me is almost numbers. Basketball, you can break everything down, and it's numbers, percents. And like I said, that's just the one thing I enjoy, and that's probably why I enjoy pretty much almost every sport. So everything involves numbers.
You teach all 4 grades, or do you have?
Okay. You got this year I don't have freshmen.
Okay.
Last year I had freshmen through seniors. This year I have sophomores and above. So it kind of just changes every year, every semester. So next semester I might have freshmen. So just how scheduling works.
Yeah, that's great. In winter sports, girls basketball is the only one underway. Girls swimming is beginning its 3rd week of practice, and the coaches are looking for replacements for the 3 senior girls that graduated. They were Stevie Meyer, Macy Weiler, and Katie Cooley. The wrestling team is in its 2nd practice week, and 4 boys graduated: Jacob Red, Ethan Harris, Isaiah Bennett, and Dylan Roan. Boys swimming and boys basketball both began official practice today. Swim coach Daryl Drew has to replace 5 from last year's squad: James Smith, Peyton Kiefaber, Zane Spurlock, Mason Stevens, and Nick Flug. And basketball coach Kerry Brown and his staff saw 7 members graduate: Dalton Ailes, Dalton Lee, Braxton Reveley, Tyler Combs, Drew Shirk, Wes Smith, and Garrett Silcott. And the other winter sport gymnastics team members began practice November the 12th. The girls graduating were Whitney Owens, Layla Fitzgerald, and Abby Jacobs, and they don't begin until January. A lot of kids graduated. I hope they're all doing well. Daniel?
Yeah. So we only had one graduates, but like I said, we'll have quite a few this year, and I think about every year I've coached, I was talking with Thompson a couple of weeks ago, it seems like every year I've coached, we've had 3 graduate. I mean, 3 seniors almost every year, other than last year. So it's just one of those things that's changed last year, and we're going to have quite a few still graduate this year. I think we have 7 of them this year. So
Tori Boswick was the only senior graduated.
Yep.
I think when Tori went to
Iowa State.
Okay.
So, yep.
Yeah. And then we have quite a few kids at IU East.
Yeah. So
Garrett Silcott is playing basketball. Dalton Lee is playing golf, I believe.
Wes Smith, I think, is
cross country, I believe. And let's see, tennis, Nick Muston. Is that right?
Sounds right.
Something like. Yeah, I think we had 7 kids in all to go to IU East. So it's nice to have them close to home, and we can keep tabs on them, what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you have a chance to see Grant Smith and Garrett Silcott in action in their game last week? I
did not. I heard and listened to some highlights and from some of the students that were talking about it. So, like I said, it's great that we have 2 kids right now playing at high levels. Both of them are playing for great programs for their schools. So, like I said, we'll have another few years of them playing against each other. So. And then, like I said, last year, the year before, we had 2 of them going against each other, former student or graduates. So, like I said, it is always neat, especially when they get to meet up. So,
and it makes it's good for the community. It makes the community proud. And, you think about number 1 and number 2 were going at each other last week, and Grant got his national championship ring, I think, at the last game they had. So. That's pretty special. And, and you think about, we know these kids and been around them and have gotten to see them play here on a lower level.
Yes, like I said, I think boys basketball especially is having a great program. They have success right now, having few players move on to the college level, and like I said, that's amazing. So
we have a couple boy-girl doubleheaders, one at home, I think, against South Dearborn, then after that, Greenfield Central. That's a good opportunity for people that don't normally come to a girls' game to get there, and I think it's nice for the girls because the bowl does fill up then by second half, and it's a good opportunity
the
to
crowd
showcase
starts
what they
coming
have.
in. Like I said, that's the thing that we've talked to all the girls about in the past is we like to see when the crowd starts getting bigger, because you get that momentum coming. The other thing we love about it is sectional. You don't know if you're going to get the first game or second game of the sectional, and so if you only play the second game, that time difference sometimes can mess some people up. So it's like trying to get that where we practice. We always go to the Rumble for the reason of guaranteed you're going to play 2 games in one day. And our ultimate goal is to win a sectional and go on to a regional. And in that regional, you play 2 games.
Yes.
So it's like we try to practice every year doing some things like that where we change game time from normal and find games.
We talked about boys basketball practice starting today, and you have about 2.5 weeks usually of practice, which is according to the IHSAA. When the girls come out, you and Michael and the coaching staff have the tryouts, right? Okay, and they take how many days?
Our first rounder cuts are always Wednesday, but we allow till Friday for our final cuts, trying to see. In the past, we never knew if we were going to have 2 teams, 3 teams, and even this year it's still a little struggle. 20 girls we have, and it's one of those things that playing 2 teams, you can't get some of them enough playing time, so we're going to try to pick up a little bit of a C team and try to get the ones that don't get in the games right now in JV, trying to get them down to a C team, play our conference schedule. So I think they're going to have 6 games there. That 6 conference schools will have a team, so we're going to try to see how that works, but we got to make sure we follow the rules. of how many games and quarters and everything they're allowed in a day and week and in a season. So.
Okay. So it takes almost a week before a team is really put together.
Yeah. Like I said, it's just one of those things. You kind of have an idea where people will fall, but there are people throughout the season that show enough improvement where they can move from JV to varsity or go from the C team to JV, and sad, but it could also go the other way. So it's just one of those things that it forces them to have to stay working hard and be there.
Sure.
And keep the commitment going. So
you don't have an exclusive 9th grade team? The freshmen?
I think we just call it a C team in case there is a sophomore or that we would send down there, because like I said, if instead of just saying a 9th grade team, we'll call it a C team, just because if we only have 4 freshman girls one day that can go, and a few sophomores, we'll send them. If the sophomores are getting a lot of playing time on the JV level, then they won't go down to play C team. Then it kind of is a 9th grade team, but just kind of depends on numbers.
Okay.
So
quite a few freshmen on the junior varsity.
Yes.
I saw.
Yes.
Plus you have a freshman starting on the varsity.
Yeah. So really, we're senior and freshman heavy. We have a couple juniors, couple sophomores, and the rest are freshmen, seniors. So I think we have 4 total people that are girls that are not a senior or freshman.
At the middle school, those girls don't play until January.
Yes. Kind of a weird time for us, especially because our sectional is in January. First game of sectional is in January this year.
Right,
so
late January.
It's one of those things that we're in sectional mode, trying to do that, especially when they're having their cuts and trying to do their tryouts and going through their things. And I know we want to try to get over there, but we also have to worry about ourselves first. And I think that's just a struggle with girls basketball, is where middle school season is versus high school season. It doesn't fit well trying to help out with the middle school program as much as what we would like it.
They have a red team and a white team.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not for sure. I think they said there was 33 7th grade girls that came to open gym.
I think so.
Last week, I think they said 33. I can't remember how many 8th graders, but like I said, that's a great number to have. I mean, kind of go through, see things. We'll have plenty of people that can play each team, and that way they get plenty of minutes and go from there. And a few years ago, we were struggling for finding people for a second team. Some years, I think we only had barely enough for a red team. So, like I said, it's great to have the number. So.
Right. And they play not all the schools that the high school plays. They play like some Richmond Test and.
Yeah, they play different, and the red teams play different teams than the white teams. Some of them are the same, but they're different. So, like I said, it'll be a great experience for those girls on the team, and like I said, for our coaches, trying to work some things out that we're going to try to get to and explain and try to build up a program.
Are
with
you and Michael able to see many of their games?
Not so much during month of January, but they have like 2-3 weeks after January, after our sectional is over and all that stuff, and that's when we are able to go more so than the beginning. So we got to kind of see them more at the end. Yes. So, like I said, it's just a struggle we have to try to get to some of them is the season, how it falls, where they moved us up 2 weeks. So,
Daniel, thanks for joining us here on tonight's show, and best of luck to you and the Lady Spartans the rest of the season.
Nope, thank you.
Thanks for watching this edition of Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. Good night, everybody.